Just when everyone thought the win had been smooth, a piece of news dropped that changed the mood fast. John Harbaugh spoke up and delivered an update nobody wanted to hear, the kind that makes you stop what you're doing and think, wait, what just happened? This wasn't a small detail you can shrug off. It was serious enough to leave everyone with that feeling that something big might be coming. And the most striking part is that this all centers on a player who'd been earning more playing time, getting better, and turning heads. And now he's suddenly the focus of a major concern. There's a lot behind Harbaugh's update. And once you understand exactly what went down, everything will click. And it might even make you more uneasy about what's coming next week. Let's dive in. The win over the Browns looked calm, one of those results that leaves everyone satisfied. But in the middle of that good vibe, something happened that almost nobody noticed. While the team celebrated and packed up to head home, rookie Keon Martin started feeling something serious. Suddenly, a night that was supposed to be all celebration turned into cause for concern. When the Ravens group left the stadium, Martin wasn't with them. That stood out right away. Players don't just stay behind without a reason. Then the confirmation came. He had to go straight to the hospital for chest pain. This wasn't fussing or exaggeration. It was something that genuinely worried the team. The timing couldn't have been worse, because Martin had been earning more snaps just when the team needed him most. With Marlon Humphrey injured, he'd been getting more playing time, performing well, and steadying the defense with maturity you don't always see in a rookie. That's why any issue with him carries extra weight. And that scare only made the secondary feel shakier, because Martin wasn't the only concern. There was another big question hanging over the defensive backfield. That brings us to the next point. When John Harbaugh finally spoke about what happened, you could tell the scare was serious. He explained that Keon Martin had to stay in Cleveland because doctors were worried about the chest pain. He went straight to the hospital, had a series of tests, and spent the night there just to make sure nothing serious was going on. That shows how concerned the team really was. The good news came after. All the tests came back negative. Nothing severe, nothing that put Martin's health at immediate risk. It was the kind of result that made everyone breathe a sigh of relief. Still, Harbaugh made it clear they'll be watching him closely over the next 24 hours, because with injuries like this you need to monitor for any odd signs. The way Harbaugh talked about it also shows how much the team already values Martin. He didn't treat it like something small. He laid out the facts calmly and stressed that the priority is making sure the player is fully healthy before thinking about anything related to field. That approach only reinforces a role he's earned inside the group, and by saying all that, Harbaugh left a clear message. If Martin is being handled with that much care, it's because the team truly needs him, especially given who's still out. And that brings us straight to Martin's impact on the Ravens secondary. The surprising thing about this whole story is Martin wasn't supposed to be a big name so soon. But with Marlon Humphrey sidelined, someone had to step up, and Martin grabbed the chance. Over the last 2 games, he's shown confidence, toughness, and even put up numbers a lot of people didn't expect. Against the Browns, he had a tackle for loss, a sack, and a pass breakup. Easily the best game of his young career so far. Look at his season as a whole, and it's even more impressive. Even while playing just 21% of defensive snaps, he's already totaled 23 tackles and other key plays. Most of his time is on special teams, but whenever he's on defense, he proves he's not just filling a spot. He brings the kind of energy that makes a rookie earn respect fast. What stands out most is how unafraid he is to take on bigger responsibilities. The defense needed someone to absorb pressure, and he stepped up. It's not just about stats. It's about being in the right place, reading the play, and not backing down from anyone. That kind of mindset is rare for rookies who arrive undrafted. But even with all that growth, the Ravens defense still faces a big question. When will Marlon Humphrey return? That uncertainty makes everything tougher, especially now that Martin himself is a question mark.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video. But before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important, because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
Marlon Humphrey's situation continues to leave everyone in the dark. There's no clear timeline for when he'll be back, and that weighs heavily on preparation for next week. Humphrey is one of the most important players on this defense, and his absence opened a hole that isn't easy to plug. Even more so when the immediate replacement, Martin, just had a scare like this. While there's no update on Humphrey, the staff has to put together multiple plans. If he's back, great. If he's not, they need to decide who will fill his role. And if Martin can't play either, the situation becomes a real problem. The coaching staff has no choice but to prepare for several possibilities at once. This kind of uncertainty calls for calm and quick adjustments. The Ravens' defense has shown it can operate through waves of injuries, but everyone knows Humphrey raises a whole level of the secondary when he's on the field. And Martin had been helping keep things stable during his absence. That's why his scare matters even more. And it's in that fog of doubt that the team has to get ready for the next opponent. But what's happening over in New York actually changes the kinds of decisions Baltimore can make. The next game is against the New York Jets, and their situation isn't simple. They just benched Justin Fields and decided to go with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. That move shows how shaky their offense has been, and it changes how the Ravens might approach this matchup. With the Jets dealing with so many offensive issues, Baltimore gets some room to be more cautious with its injured players. If Martin isn't fully recovered, there's no reason to rush him back. Same goes for Humphrey. This is exactly the kind of game where you think with your head, not with panic. Forcing a return right now could create a much bigger problem down the line. And the coaching staff knows the roster has enough talent to compete while protecting players who need more time. The moment calls for strategy, not urgency. And so, while the Jets try to reorganize their offense, the Ravens can turn this matchup into an opportunity to better manage their roster, something crucial heading into the final stretch of the season when every healthy player matters. In the end, John Harbaugh's update completely changed the vibe after the win. The scare with Keon Martin, the uncertainty around Humphrey, and the extra caution heading into the next game make one thing clear. Nothing is guaranteed, not even after a victory. The Ravens' defense is in a delicate spot, full of important decisions, and every detail, every test, every evaluation could directly affect what we see on the field against the Jets. Now the question is, would you risk putting Martin and Humphrey out there if they're not 100%, or would you sit them thinking about the rest of the season? Whatever you choose, one thing is certain. Every step from here on must be calculated, because this team is fighting for something much bigger, and smart decisions now could be the difference when it all comes down to the wire.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.